Hello everyone, how are you doing? This is part 16 of the inventory tutorial series that I'm doing in this channel, and this is the last part. So in this part, we're going to create the drag and drop functionality. So let me collect some items here to show you. Let me collect some apples and bananas. So if I open the inventory, now we can move items from one slot to another, as you can see. So we have the drag visuals and we can move items from one slot to another, or even from one inventory to another. So if I open the chest, I can move items from the chest inventory to the player's inventory, as you can see. And of course, we can do from the player's inventory to the chest as well, as you can see. And we can put items on the same stack, as you can see. So everything is working, and this drag and drop part is what we're gonna do in this video. But before, if you do like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't lose any new content, and let's start. Okay, so to create the drag and drop, first we need to create two functions inside the inventory component. So let's navigate to Blueprints, Components, and let's open the BBC inventory component. Let's open this, and here we need to create two more functions. So here in functions, let's create one, and I will call this increase stack, like this. And this function will need two inputs. So let's select the function here and add one input here. I will name this target slot index. So this is basically the index of the slot that we are trying to drop the item, right? And of course, this needs to be an integer. So let's change the type to integer. And we need one more input here, and I will name this amount to add, something like this. And of course, this needs to be an integer as well. So now let's start implementing this. Okay, so first let's add a sequence to the graph. So right click and type sequence. Let's add one here. Let's connect the execution pin. And first we need to set some variables. So let's create those variables. So I will create them as a local variable. So here in local variables, let's add one, and I will name this target slot. This is the actual slot that we are trying to drop the item. So let's change the type here to struct inventory slot, this one. Let's select this, and let's create another one for the item infos. So I will name this item infos, like this, and of course the type of this will be struct items. There we go. Let's compile and save, and now let's set these variables here. So first let's set the target slot. So to set, just hold Alt on the keyboard and drag the variable to create a set node, like this. And let's connect from the dem0 here in the sequence. So let's drag from this and connect in the set. Let me add a reroute like this. And now we need to get the slot. So to get the slot, we need the content variable that we have in the inventory component here. So let's expand the inventory category in the variables here. Let's drag the content array. So this variable here, let's drag like this with a get node. And from this, we can get the slot. So let's drag from the array and type get a copy. And there we go. Let's select this one. And of course, this get needs an index inside this array. And we have this index in this input, is the target slot index. So let's drag from the input here and connect in this get node. Let me just add a reroute here. There we go. And now we just need to connect these results here in the target slot variable, like this. So this is the slot. Now let's set the item infos. So to set the item infos, first we need to get the informations, right? So let's break this slot here. So after setting this, let's drag from this pin here and type break struct inventory slot, like this. So we have all the informations here, the item ID, amount, occupied, and actor class. So now we need to get the informations, and we have a function to do this in the Blueprint function library. So here we just need to right click and type get item info from the B, this one here. and this needs an item ID, and of course is this one inside the slot. So let's drag this like this, and here we have a success variable that tells us if we found this item or not. So let's connect this in a branch just to make sure. Let's connect from the set node here like this. And if this is true, we need to set the item infos with this item infos here that this function returns, right? So let's drag this holding Alt to create a set node. Let's connect from the true. And of course, the value of this variable is this item infos here. So let's connect here in the value of the set node, and there we go. So now we are setting all the variables that we need to implement this function. So let's select every node here and press C to comment, and I will comment setting the local variables like this. And there we go. So now we can continue implementing this function. Okay, so now I need to see if the amount of items that we have inside the slot plus the amount of items that we're trying to add is greater or not than the max stack size. So to see this, first we need to get the amount that we have in the target slot. So let's drag the target slot local variable here to the graph like this. And from this, let's break the informations. There we go. And here we have the amount. So we need to add the amount to add in this amount here. So let's drag from the amount and type plus to get an add operator like this. And in the second pin, let's connect this amount to add. So because we are inside a function, we can actually get this input without connecting the wire. We just need to right click and type the name of the input, so amount to add. As you can see, we have the get amount to add node here. So let's get this and connect in the second pin like this in this add node. So I need to see if the result of this is greater or not than the max stack size. And the max stack size, this information is inside the item infos. So let's get the item infos variable here and let's break this. So let's right click on the pin here and click on split struct pin, and as you can see, we have all the informations about the item, and here we have the max stack size. So now let's drag from the results of this operator here and let's type greater. So let's get the greater operator like this, and let's connect the max stack size in this like this. And of course, this is a branch, so let's connect this condition in a branch like this. This is a boolean, actually not a branch but a boolean. Let's connect in a branch, and of course the execution pin comes from this then one here. So let's connect this here, and there you go. So now we need to take care of the true or false case in this branch. So let's do this part. Okay, so let's take care of the true part of this branch first. So basically, if this is true, that means that the amount of items that we are trying to add in the target slot is greater than the max stack size. So in this case, we need to set the target slot to have the max stack size, and we need to return the rest value. So basically the amount of items that we need to leave in the source slot. So the slot that we are dragging from, right? So first let's get this rest value. And to get this, we need to subtract the max stack size from the amount that we are trying to add. So basically this operation here. So I will select all these nodes, the target slot, break the struct, the amount to add, and the plus operator here. Let's select everything, Ctrl C to copy, and let's paste up here. So Ctrl V like this. And we need to subtract the max stack size. So let's select this node that we have all the informations about the item. Let's copy again and paste up here as well, like this. And now we just need to drag from these results here and type minus to get a subtract node and connect the max stack size to the second pin like this. There we go. So now, basically this is the amount of items that we need to leave in the source slot. So we need to return this. So let's add a return node. So just right click and type return like this. And we need to add one output to this. So here in outputs, just click on plus, and I will name this rest like this. And of course, this needs to be an integer as well. So now let's just connect the result here in this output. So now, for now, let's leave the return node here, and let's set the target slot to have the max stack size. So to do this, let's drag the content array. So drag the content array to the graph like this. Let's get this content. And from the array, let's drag and type set array element like this. So the index is the target slot index. So the input of the function here, the target slot index. So let's right click here and type target slot index to get the variable here, to get the input like this. Let's connect the in the index, and now we need the item. So let's drag from the item here and click on make struct inventory slot like this. And now we need to get the informations here. We need to pass the informations actually. So let's get the target slot. So basically, this is the slot that we are trying to drop the item. So let's get this like this, and let's break the informations like this. And we just need to connect the item ID in the item ID, the occupied in occupied, and actor class in actor class, and the amount is the max stack size. So let's drag from this and connect here in the amount. So basically this is it. So let's just connect this execution pin in set array element in the return node. And of course we need to connect the execution pin from the true part of this branch here in this set array element. So let's connect this like this, and there we go. Let me just put this up here. Let me select everything and put maybe here like this. Let me add a reroute, and there we go. So basically this is the true part. So if this is true, we are setting the target slot to have the max stack size, and we are returning the amount that we need to leave in the source index, right? So there we go. Now let's do the false part of this branch. Okay, so basically if this is false, that means that we just need to set the target slot to be this value here. So basically the amount that we have plus the amount of items that we are trying to add, right? So here let's get the content array again. So here in the variables, just get the content. And from this array, let's drag and type set array element like this. Let's connect from the false of this branch. There you go. The slot index is the same one. So let's right click and type target slot index to get the input like this. And we need to make the item. So let's drag from the item and click on make struct inventory slot, and we need to connect the informations. So let me just copy this one here. So the target slot and the break, we just need to break the local variable for this like this. Let's connect the item ID in item ID, occupied in occupied, and actor class in the actor class. And for the amount is this same one here. So actually let me drag from this. So the amount that we have in this slot plus the amount of items that we are trying to add, that we are trying to drop in this slot, right? So let's drag from this and connect in the amount here in the make struct inventory like this. And of course we need to return the rest as well. So let's add a return here. Right click and type return to add the return node. Let's connect the execution pin, and in this case the rest is 0. So let's leave this as 0. And there we go. This is basically the function. So let me just comment this. So let's select every node here, these nodes. Let's press C to comment, and I will comment this, setting the target slot to have the correct amount and returning 0, something like this. And let's select every node here up here, and I will comment here setting target slot to have the max and returning the rest, something like this. There we go. So this is basically the function. I hope this makes sense to you. So now we need to create another function to use this function. So let's do the other one. Okay, so before creating the function, let's change the increase stack size category to be in the helper one. So just select the function, and here in category, let's change this to helper like this. Let me compile and save. And now let's create the function. So here in functions, just click on the plus, and I will name this function move items like this. And this will be the actual function that we're gonna call to move one item from one slot to another slot, right? So this function will need some inputs. So let's click on the function, and here in inputs, let's add one. This first one, I will name this source inventory like this. And of course, this is the inventory that we are dragging the item from. So let's leave this as BPC inventory. So change the type here to BPC inventory. You just need to search here BPC inventory and get an object reference like this. Let's add another input, and this one will be the source slot index. So let's name this to source slot index. Let's change the type to integer. And of course, this is the index of the slot that we are dragging the item from. So the source slot, right? And let's add another input, and this one will be the target slot index. So the slot that we are dropping the item, right? And of course, this needs to be an integer as well. So first, to make our life easier, let's create some local variables. So here in local variables, let's add one, and this first one will be the source slot. So let's name this source slot. Let's change here the type to struct inventory slot, this one. And let's add another one, and this will be the target slot. So let's name this target slot. And of course, this needs to be struct inventory slot as well. Let me compile and save, and let's start implementing this. So first we need to set these variables. So let's start with the source slot. So let's drag this holding Alt to create a set node like this. Let's connect from the execution pin. And now we need to get the source slot. So the source slot is inside the source inventory, right? Not this content one, because this content is here in this class that we are creating this function is actually the target inventory, because when we call this function, we will call this from the target inventory, right? From the inventory that we are dropping the item. So this content here is actually the target content. To get the source content, we need to get from the source inventory input, this one here. So let's drag from this and type get content like this. And here we have the content from the source inventory. So let's drag from this and type get a copy to get the slot, right? And of course, the index is the source slot index. So let's drag from this and connect in this get node like this. And this is basically the source slot. So let's connect this in the value of this set node like this. So now let's set the target slot. So again, hold Alt on the keyboard and drag the variable like this. Let's connect the execution pin. And the target slot, as I mentioned before, is inside this content array here. So let's drag from this now, like this. Let's drag here and type get a copy. And the slot here is the target slot index input from the function. So let's just connect this here. And of course, this is the slot, so let's connect in the target slot set node here, this one. And there we go, this is the variables. Let me compile and save, and now we can do the implementation of this function. So let's create the rest. Okay, so first we need to see if the target slot is occupied. So if we have items in the target slot, in the slot that we are dropping the item. So to see this, let's drag from the target slot here. So let's drag the reference and break the struct like this. And here we have the occupied variable. So let's drag from the occupied and connect in a branch. So just type branch like this. Let's connect on the execution pin. And of course, we need to deal with the true and false case. So first, let's deal with the false case. So basically, if we don't have items in the target slot, we just need to set the target slot to have the same item as the source slot, and after this we need to set the source slot to be empty. So let's do this. First, let's set the target slot to have the same item as the source slot. So let's drag from the content here. So the target content, remember this is the target content, right? So let's drag from the content here, the variable, and from this let's type set array element, and let's connect from the false here like this. We need to pass the index. So the index is the target slot index here in the function. So again, because this is a function, we can get this without connecting wires. We just need to right click and type the name of the input. So target slot index, and let's get the variable like this. Let's connect in the index, and we need to make the item. So let's drag from the item here and click on make struct inventory slot like this, and we need to connect the informations. So we need to set the target slot to have the same item as the source slot. So let's drag the source slot here. So we are setting this in a local variable. So let's get the local source slot variable here. Let's get this. And from this, we just need to break the struct, and here we have the informations about the source slot. So in this case, we just need to connect everything like this: the item ID, amount, occupied, and actor class, because in this case, the target slot is empty because it's not occupied, as you can see. So we are setting the target slot to be the same as the source slot, right? Okay, so after this, we need to set the source slot to be empty. So to do this, we need to get from the source inventory, right? And we have this in the input of the function, as you can see. So here, after this, let's right click and type source inventory to get the input, as you can see. Let's drag from this and type get the content of the source inventory like this, and from this we can get the slot. So we can set the slot, actually, not get. So from the content here, let's type set array element. Let's connect the execution pin. The index is the source slot index, and again, this is the input of the function. So here, let's right click and type source slot index to get the input like this. Let's connect the here in the index, and we need to make the item. So let's drag from this and type make struct inventory, and we are trying to make the slot empty, so we don't need to connect anything here. Basically, if the target slot is empty, we are setting the target slot to be the same as the source slot, and after this we are making the source slot empty. And there we go. This is basically it for this false here. So now we need to deal with the true case when the slot already have an item. So let's do this part now. Okay, so if we already have items in the target slot, so in the slot that we are trying to drop the item, so if we already have items, first I need to see if the item that we have in the target slot is the same one as the item that we are dragging and dropping, right? So to do this, let's drag from the source slot local variable here. So let's drag from this and break this. So just drag and type break like this. And let's break the target slot as well. So let's drag the target slot and break. And to see if these are equal, we just need to see the item ID. So let's drag from the item ID and type equal equal to get the equal operator, and let's connect the item ID of the target slot in the second pin like this. And we have the branch, so let's drag from this and type branch. So we have the condition here, and let's connect from the true in this branch like this. So basically, if the items are the same or not. So if the items are not the same, I will just return from this function. So here in the false, let's drag and type return node, and we don't need to add any outputs to this. We just need to return. So in this system, I will not swap the items, right? So if the items are not equal, I will just return from the function without doing anything. So basically the drag and drop will not work, right? Okay, so if this is true, we need to increase the stack, because if the items are the same, we need to increase the target slot amount with the source slot amount. So to do this, we created the increase stack function, this one. So let's just call this function here. So let's expand the helper category in the functions, and let's drag the increase stack function like this. Let's connect from the true case of this equal here like this. So the target slot index is the input of the function. So let's just right click here and type target slot index, this one. Let's connect in the target slot index like this, and the amount to add in the target slot is the amount that we have in the source slot. So let's drag from this and connect in the amount to add, right? And now we have the rest value here. So now we need to do something with this rest. So let's do this part. Okay, so basically we need to see if this rest is greater than 0 or not. So let's drag from the rest here and type greater like this to get the greater operator. There we go. And of course, let's connect this in a branch like this. Let's connect the execution pin from the increase stack function like this, and here we have true and false, if the rest is greater than 0 or not. So basically, if the rest is greater than 0, we need to set the source slot with this rest, right? Because we increased the target slot to be the max one, and we need to set the source slot to have the rest, right? So let's do this. So to do this, again, we need to drag from the source inventory again. So up here, let's right click and type source inventory like this. From this, let's get the content. So drag and type get content like this. And from this, we can set the array. So drag and type set array element like this. Let me just put up here like this. Let's connect from the true of this branch here. So if the rest is greater than 0, let's connect here. And we need to make the item. So let's drag from this and click on make struct inventory slot like this. And we need to connect the informations. So these informations will be the same as the source slot, right? So again, let's drag the source slot from the local variable. Let's drag this, click on get, and let's break this. So type break struct slot, and the item ID will be the same, the occupied will be the same, actor class of course will be the same, but the amount will be the rest. So let's drag from this rest here of the increase stack function. So let's drag from this and connect in the make struct inventory slot amount here. So let me just add a reroute here, some reroutes to organize this better, like this, and there we go. So basically now we are setting the source slot to have the same item as it has before, but with the rest amount, right? Because we increased the stack of the target slot, right? I hope you can understand this. So now we need to deal with the false case of this branch. So basically, if the rest is not greater than 0, right? So let's do this part. Actually, before creating the false part of this branch, let's add some comments to this to organize. So let me put this back here Let me put this a little bit here. Let me select all these nodes, press C to comment, and I will comment here setting the local variables, something like this. Let's select these nodes here, and I will comment setting the target slot to be the same as the source. Let's comment here, let's select these nodes, and I will comment setting the source slot to be empty, something like this. Let's select these nodes here and these actually. Let's select all these nodes, and I will comment here if the items are the same, something like this. Let me select these nodes, and I will comment here incrementing the target slot like this. Let's select these nodes, and I will comment here if the rest is greater than 0 or not, something like this. And finally, let's select these nodes, and I will comment here if we have a rest, setting the source slot to have the rest like this. And there we go. Now it's more organized, I think. So now let's do the false part of this. So basically, if the rest is not greater than 0. So let's do this. And this will be really simple, because if we don't have a rest, we just need to set the source slot to be empty. So let's do this. Again, we need to get the source inventory from the input. So here, let's right click and type source inventory to get the input. From this, we can get the content of this inventory. And now we can set the element. So let's drag from this and type set array element like this. Let's connect from the false of this branch here like this. Let's connect from the index here. Let's connect the index. So this is the source index. So the input of the function. Again, let's right click and type source index to get the source slot index. Let's connect here in the index. And I think that I forgot to add here in this set array here. So here we are setting the source slot as well. So here we need to connect the index. So right click and type source slot index to get the variable and connect here. Don't forget to do this, right? So let's come back here. So we have the source index. Now we just need to connect the item. So let's drag from this and type make struct inventory slot like this. And here we are making the slot empty. So we don't need to connect anything here. So the item ID will be none, amount 0, occupied false, and the actor class will be null. So there we go. Let's select this and comment if we don't have a rest, setting the source slot to be empty, something like this. Let's compile and save, and there we go. This is basically the function. Now we need to update the UI after all these three parts here. If the target slot is not occupied, we are setting the target slot to be the same as the source slot, and we are making the source slot empty, right? So if the target slot already have an item, we are checking if the items are the same. So if the items are the same, we are increasing the stack, right? And if we have a rest, we are setting the source slot to be the rest, to have the rest. But if we don't have a rest, we are setting the source slot to be empty. So after these three set array element here, we need to update the UI, of course, to give the feedback to the player. So after these three, let's do the update part now. Okay, so to update the UI, we need to get the HUD class. So to get the HUD class, we need the player controller. So here in the front, let's right click and type get player controller like this. From the player controller, we can get the HUD. So let's drag from this and type get HUD. And from this, we just need to call the interface functions to update the player inventory and update the general inventory. So let's drag from the get HUD here the return value, and let's type update player main slots, this one here. Let's connect from all these three options. So from this, let's connect in the update player main slots. Let's get from this one here. So if we don't have a rest, let's connect here. And if the target slot is not occupied, of course, we need to update the UI as well. So let's drag from this one here and connect in the update player slots. So basically from all these three here, if we do anything here, we need to update the player inventory, right? And we need to update the general inventory as well. We need to update a chest that we are open, for example. So let's drag from the get HUD here and type update general inventory slots. So let's select this one here and connect after the player main slots like this. And there we go. So basically this function will be able to move an item from one slot to another one, but as you can see here, we are not swapping the items. So if the items are not the same, we are just returning here. So if you want to swap items, you need to implement this part in this false case here, right? So there we go. This is the function. Let's just add a comment on this part here. So let's select everything and type updating the inventories UI, something like this. There we go. So basically this is the function. It's a little bit complex, but I hope you can understand this. If not, feel free to ask in the comments and I'll try to help you out. So now the component for the inventory, so the inventory has the ability to move items. So now we can do the drag and drop part of the system. So let's do this. Okay, so to create the drag and drop part, first we need to create a drag drop operation. So to do this, let's go back to the folders. Let's go to the blueprints folder, and here I will create another folder. So right click, go to new folder, and I will name this operations, something like this. Let's open this and I will create the drag and drop operation here. So right click, go to blueprint class, and here in all classes, search for drag drop, and you will find the drag drop operation. So let's select this and click on select, and I will name this DDO for drag and drop operation inventory, something like this. Inventory, there you go. Let's open this, and here in this drag and drop operation, in the drag and drop inventory, we just need to add two variables. We just need the variables here to pass from from the drag operation to the drop operation, right? So here in the variables, let's add one, and this will be the source inventory. So let's name this as source inventory, like this. Of course, let's change the type to BPC inventory, so the component for the inventory. Of course, let's pick a object reference, and let's add one more, and this will be the source slot index. So let's name this source slot index, and let's change the type here to integer, like this. Let's compile and save, and this is all that we need to do inside the drag and drop operation. Let's close this, and now we need to open the widget for the slot. So let's go to the widgets folder, inventory, and let's open the WB inventory slot. Let's open this, and as you can see, this is the slot of the inventories. So we need to do all the part of the drag and drop inside the slot, because of course we will be dragging from a slot and we will be dropping in a slot. So we need to do the code here. So let's do this part now. Okay, so the first thing that I need to see here is if we are trying to drag an item from this slot. So to see this, let's go to the graph, And first we need to see if we press with the left mouse button in this slot. So to see this, we actually have this function already. So if we go to functions here, and if we click on override, as you can see, we have a bunch of functions that we can override. And here we have the on mouse button down. So let's click on this to implement this function. As you can see, we have the function here, so let me just increase the space here. So let's implement this. So first I want to do this if we press with the left mouse button. So to do this, let's drag from the mouse event here, the mouse event input of this function, and let's type is mouse button down, this one. And as you can see, we can select the mouse button. So just click on the keyboard here and press the mouse button that you want. So for me is the left one, so I will click on the left mouse button, as you can see, and this is a branch. So let's drag from this and connect in a branch. This is not a branch, actually this is a boolean, and let's connect in a branch. There we go. So let's connect the execution pin, and basically if this is true, that means that we click it with the left mouse button in this widget, and if this is false, of course we didn't click it, right? So if we click with the left mouse button, I want to see if we have items in this slot. So for this, we have the occupied variable. So let's drag this occupied variable and connect in a branch like this. And of course, I only want to see this if we press with the left mouse button. So let's connect from the true here. And there you go. So basically, if we click it with the left mouse button and if we have items in this slot, I want to start the drag and drop operation. So to start this, to fire this operation, we need to call the detect drag if pressed. So right click and type detect drag if pressed. Just click on this function here, if pressed, this one. Let's put here and connect the execution pin from the true, and here we can select a key again. So for me is the left mouse button key. Of course you can put any key that you want, so just click on the keyboard and click on the key that you want. So for me, again, left mouse button, and we need to pass the pointer event, and of course is this mouse event here. So let's drag from this and connect in the pointer event like this. Let me just add a reroute, and there we go. So basically, again, if we click with the left mouse button and this slot has items, we will start the drag and drop operation if we are still holding the left mouse button key, right? So now we just need to connect the execution pin in the return and connect the return value in the return value of the function, this one here, like this. And there we go. So basically this will fire the drag and drop operation. So let's compile and save. And now we need to do something if we start this, of course. So let's do this. Okay, so before going to the next part where we detect the drag, first we need to create the visuals for the drag, because of course we need to give feedback to the player that the player are dragging an item. So for this we will create a widget, and I will put the widget in the mouse as the player drag the item from one slot to another one. So we need to create this widget. So let's go back to the folders, and here in the same widgets folder for the inventory, let's right click and create a new one. So go to user, widget blueprint, select user widget, and here I will name this WB drag visuals, something like this. Let's open this and create the widget. So let me just put here. And first let's add a size box. So here in the palette, search for size box. Let's get this and add here in the widget. And inside this size box, let's add an overlay. So here in the palette, again, search for overlay. Let's add in the size box. And inside this overlay, let's add a border. So search for border and add inside the overlay, like this. So let's select the border and let's make this the horizontal and vertical alignment. Let's put this on fill. So select fill here in both, like this. And let's go back to the size box to change the size of this. So select the size box and I will change the width override and height override. So let's enable these two, and for me I will put 60 on both like this. And to see the size here in the screen, just change the fill screen option here to desired on screen like this. So there you go, this will basically be the shape of the widget. So now let's add another size box to this overlay. So here in the palette, search again for a size box. Let's add in the overlay like this. And inside this size box, I will add another border. So search for border again. Let's add inside this size box. I will change the name of this border to background. Background like this. Let's put this background, the size box actually, so select the size box and put in the middle like this. Let's change the width and height override of this size box to 56, something like this. And let's select the background. So here let's change the brush color to something close to black, so like this. There you go. So now we just need to add an image component that will display the icon for the item. So here in the palette, let's search for image and let's add this image in the background like this. And I will change the name of this image to item icon image like this. So now let's put this in the center. So here in horizontal alignment and vertical alignment, let's put this in the center like this. Let's go back to the background, and here in the content we need to put in fill. So click on fill in the horizontal and fill in the vertical like this. So basically the icon for the item will appear in this white box here. So there you go. This will be the basic design for the drag visual. Of course, if you want, you can do your own design for this. You can put whatever you want here. I'm just trying to show the system behind this, right? So I'm doing the widgets really simple. Okay, so let's compile and save, and let's do something in the graph here. Actually, let's just change the padding here. So here in the item icon image padding, let's change this to 3, so we have uniform distance from the borders, as you can see. So there you go, let's compile and save, and now let's go to the graph. So here first let's add a variable. So here in variables, just click on plus, and I will name this item icon. This will be the actual icon for the item. So let's change the type of this to texture 2D like this. Let's select texture 2D object reference, and there you go. Let's compile and save, and we need to do this in the event construct. So let's delete the event tick and the pre-construct. Let's do only in the event construct. So let's do this. Okay, so when we create this widget, we need to set this item icon. So let's select this variable here and let's enable instance editable. So let's check this and expose on spawn. So there you go. So when we create this widget, we can set this variable. So here in the construct, we need to set the item icon image. So this image here, this white box, to be this item icon. So to do this, let's drag the item icon image, this one, let's drag to the graph like this. And from this, we can type set brush from texture, this one here, set brush from texture. Let's select this and connect from the event construct, of course. And we need to connect a texture here. So the texture is this one, the item icon. So let's drag from this here. Let's connect in the texture. So there you go. This is all we need to do here in the drag visuals. So let's compile and save. And now we just need to use this when we detect the drag in the inventory slot. So let's do this. Okay, so back to the WB inventory slot, the slot for the inventories, as you can see. Let's go back to the graph here. Now we need to override another function. So let's go to functions here, click on override, and here we have a function called on drag detected. So let's click on this to implement, and this function will be fired when we call this detect drag if pressed. So when this is called, this function will actually be called as well. So let's implement this function. So the first thing that we need to do is create the drag visual. So let's right click and type create widget like this. Let's connect the execution pin. And for the class, let's select the widget that we created for the drag visuals. So WB drag visual, this one here. And as you can see, we can set the item icon. So basically the item icon is the same one as the icon that we have in the slot. So we already have this information here in the item icon image. So to get this, let's drag this item icon image variable here like this. From this, we can type brush to get the brush. So this variable here in variables, appearance, get brush, let's select this. And from this brush, we can type get brush resource as texture 2D. This node here, get brush resource as texture 2D. Let's get this, and this is the texture. So let's connect in the item icon like this. Okay, so now we have created the drag visuals. Now we need to start the drag and drop operation. We need to create the drag and drop operation that we created. So the class, let's just go back to the folder here so I can show you. So we need to create this operation here, the DDO inventory that we created. So let's go back to the inventory slot widget, and here let's type create drag and drop operation. Let's select this node here. Let's connect the execution pin, and here we need to select the drag and drop operation class. So let's click on this and select the DDO inventory, the drag and drop operation that we created. So let's select this. Let's compile and save, and we need to set the source inventory and source index, but we don't have this variable here. That's because I forgot to set as expose on spawn. So let's go back to the folders here, operations. Let's open the DDO inventory, and let's select the source inventory. And here we need to make this instance editable and expose on spawn. And we need to do the same for the source slot index. So instance editable, expose and export. Let's compile and save. Let's go back to the inventory slot widget. And here let's right click on this node and click on refresh node. And as you can see, now we have the variables here to set. So the source inventory is this one here that we have in the variables. So here in components we have the inventory. Let's just drag this and connect in the source inventory, and the source in slot index, of course, we have here as well. So is this slot index here. Let's drag this and connect in the source slot index, right? Okay, so now we need to set the default drag visual. So the default drag visual is this widget that we are creating here. So let's connect from the return value in this default drag visuals, and the pivot point of the drag I will put in the bottom right here. So basically the mouse will be in the bottom right of the widget. So imagine that this node is the widget. Basically the mouse will be right here, and we have the widget right here, right? You will see what I mean when you see the drag visual in the screen, but basically the mouse will be right here. If I put this in center, this one, basically the mouse will be in the middle of the widget, so right here. And for me, I want this to be in this corner here, so let's change to bottom right, this one. And there we go. Now we just need to connect the execution pin in the return node, and the operation is this one that we are creating. So the return value, let's connect in operation. There we go. So basically this will create the drag and drop operation if we detect one, right? So let's compile and save. And now we just need to do something when we drop an item. So let's do this. Okay, so for the onDrop part, we need to override another function. So here in functions, just click on override, and here, as you can see, we have the onDrop function. So let's click on this. and we have the function to override. And here, as you can see, we have the operation as the input. So here in the onDragDetected function, we are creating this operation and sending to wherever we are dropping this, right? So here in the whatever widget we are dropping this. So here in the onDrop function in the slot widget, we have the same operation as the input, right? So first, here in this onDrop, we need to cast to the DDO inventory. So let's drag from the operation here and type cast to DDO inventory, so the operation, right? Let's connect the execution pin, and here in this as DDO inventory, we have the variables that we want. So the source inventory and source slot index. So first, I need to see if the source inventory is the same one as the target inventory. And again, on this onDrop function, this class here is the target one. So this inventory is the target. So I need to see if this inventory is the same one as the source inventory. So basically, if we are trying to drop from one slot to another slot in the same inventory, right? So let's get this inventory variable. And we need to get the source inventory as well. And the source inventory are inside the operation. So let's drag from the operation here and type source inventory. So get source inventory, this one. And we need to see if these are equal or not. So let's drag from this and type equal and connect the source inventory in the second one here. And let's connect this in a branch like this. Let's connect from the execution pin of the cast like this. And now we have the true or false. So basically, if these are the same one, I need to see if we are trying to drag from the slot and drop in the same slot. So to do this, let's get the source slot index, and the source slot index are inside the DDO inventory operation. So let's drag this and type get source slot index. And the target slot index is this one here. So the slot index variable inside the inventory slot widget. So let's drag this. And now I just want to see if these are equal or not. So let's drag from this and type equal again and connect the slot index in the second one. And this goes in a branch as well. So let's connect in a branch like this. Let's connect from the true in a branch. So basically, if the inventories are the same one and the slot index are the same one, I don't want to do the drag and drop, of course, because we are not dragging to a different widget, right? A different slot. I just want to do this if we are dragging to a different widget from the source, right? So if this is false, we need to move the item. So now we're gonna call the function that we created inside the inventory to actually move the item. So let's drag the inventory of the target, right? Let's drag the inventory here. And from this, we just need to type move items to get the function. So let's get this function here and connect from the false, as I mentioned before, because I only want to do this if the slots are not the same one, right? I just want to do this if the target slot is different from the source slot, right? So let's connect from the false. But if this condition here is false, we need to do the move items as well. So let's drag from the false here and connect in the move items. And let me just put a reroute here so we can organize this. So basically, with this, we can move items from different inventories as well, right? So now, of course, we need to connect all the informations that the move items function needs to do its job, right? So let's connect the source inventory, and is this one here, the one that are inside the operation. So let's drag this and connect in the source inventory. The source slot index is the source slot index here that we have inside the operation, and the target slot index is the slot index that we have in the variables here. So let's just drag the variable here and connect in the target slot index. And there you go. Now we just need to connect the execution pin in the return node and check the return value to true, like this. So this is basically the onDrop function. Let's compile and save. And now, if all this is working, we can finally drag and drop items in the inventory. So let's test this. Okay, so let's test. Let's go back to the level and let's hit play to see if this is working. So let me collect some items here to see. Let's collect some shields, apples, swords, and bananas to see. And let's open the inventory. And as you can see, we have the inventory here. So now if I click on an item and start dragging, we should see the drag visuals appear in the mouse. So let's try, and there you go. As you can see, we have the drag visuals in the mouse. In an empty slot, as you can see, we move the items. So basically the drag and drop are working just fine, as you can see. But if I drag this into another slot with an item that are not the same one, as you can see, nothing happens. So I can do this with everything and nothing happens. So let's try to do this with the same item. So let me open a loot chest here to see. And here we have some swords. So let me try to drag a sword into another sword slot to see. And again, nothing happens because this sword is not stackable. So nothing happens, but I can drag this to an empty slot, as you can see. And I'm dragging from different inventories. So the different inventories part are working as well. So as you can see, I can drag from the chest to the player's inventory, and of course I can drag from the player's inventory to the chest as well. So now let me get the banana here and try to drag this into the same slot as the banana. So let's put here, and as you can see, now we have 14 bananas in the same slot, and here of course we don't have the banana anymore. Let me just open another chest here, and here we have more 13 bananas. So let's try to drag this into the same slot. And there you go. Now we have 16 bananas here, but we still have 11 bananas here. So we are not losing any items. We are leaving the rest to the same source slot. And of course, we can drag this rest to another empty slot. So basically, the drag and drop is working just fine. So there you go. This is basically it. And this is basically it for this video. Now everything that I said in the first episode that I will do is now done. So we can collect items, as you can see. So let me collect some items here. We can open the inventory, we can drop items in the world, we can drag from one slot to another, so we can do the drag and drop. We have loot chests, and of course we can drag from this loot chest as well, and we can put items in the chest, as you can see. So basically everything that I said that I will do is now working. So this is the last video of this series. I will do one more video just to show you how you can create this storage chest, but it's really simple. You just need to create a blueprint as a child of the interactable class, add the chest model that you want, and add the inventory component, and set the inventory type to be storage, and everything will work just fine. So this is basically it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this series, and if you learned something new, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't lose any new content. And as always, thank you for watching, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video.